Hey everybody, welcome back to our First Baptist Church podcast. We are so glad you joined us today. With me I have a special guest. This is Brother Tony Crawford from Salem Baptist Church outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. And he is here to lead worship with us yesterday. But I'm so glad he came in. He came in to help us with a choir retreat and then led, of course, yesterday. And so glad he got to come in, him and his sweet wife, Becky. And so thank you for coming, brother. I really appreciate y'all coming into town.
Absolutely. We've had a great time together this weekend.
It has. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah. It's been a while since we've been together. It's about as old as Barrett is.
Absolutely.
So the last time we were together, Barrett was not born yet, and she was about 6 months pregnant with him. And so it's been a little over 4 years, and a lot has changed in those
Several
4 years.
Things have changed, absolutely.
A lot of stuff is going on, and but Tony is a worship leader, like I said, at Salem Baptist Church outside of Knoxville, and I've been watching him for about 4 years, and he's been a mentor of mine, kind of from a distance. And I don't know if he likes to admit that, but you know he'll tell you a lot of people don't watch him.
You never know. We'll see.
But there's a way you lead worship that I always appreciate it, and it's just authentic. It's genuine, and I told the choir a couple days ago, it's like, you're not flashy. You're not the Joel Osteen of music. You know,
absolutely.
This is it's from a genuine heart, and it's who you are, and that's
appreciate that.
That's the hard thing, in whether you know it or not in ministry, is finding people without egos. Mm-hmm. That is always a big issue sometimes, and so. So I always have appreciated your heart for it, but I also love the musicality of how you do it. If that makes,
absolutely.
I'm trying to make sense to y'all as well, but because we'll kind of music nerd out a little bit, so I try to
just a little bit.
I try to make it applicable to everybody. But the way you lead, you don't lean one way or the other. Sometimes, I mean, you do hymns, you do contemporary.
Absolutely. You got to reach everybody.
You do, and we were talking about this the other night. Part of what we love to do is to reach every age in our congregation. And we don't always do a good job of it.
No, not at all. But
we do
our
try.
heart is you want to reach everybody that's in the room and listening and generations.
We're one body. It's not broken up between ages. We want to be able to reach everybody. Yeah. And but you still use a choir. How many people do you have at your choir now? Y'all have grown tremendously.
Yeah, we've grown quite a bit over the last several years. I've been at Salem Baptist. It'll be 4 years in February, and God's really done a great work there, and he's continuing to move, and we're very thankful for all that he's doing in the life of Salem. So we're looking forward to what else he has in store for us in the days ahead. So looking forward to that. The choir, we had our first rehearsal for the new year this past Wednesday, and we had 79 in rehearsal. But as you know. Not everybody comes exactly every single Sunday. Some folks are in other ministries. Exactly. And some folks are involved in other ministries of the church, and so they're going to go and they're going to serve in other areas of the church, which I encourage them to do that because it takes the body to do the work of the ministry. But when they're not serving, we encourage them to come and be part of the worship ministry as well, and to serve in that capacity. And we're just growing and just letting the Lord do his thing. So it's exciting to see that happening.
Well, I think part of what attracts a choir to you, if this makes sense, is your genuine nature. It's not it's not a performance-based experience. You and I both have dealt with choirs that it was all about the next big concert or a big event. And while that's enjoyable, I guess, if that makes sense, it's enjoyable to the people watching, and to some extent, it's a lot of stress to put on those things. But to some extent, it's enjoyable to do them, and you enjoy the experience. But at the same time, what is the purpose of our choir? What's the meaning behind what we're supposed to be doing? And a lot of times, it's the exact opposite of the performance-based style.
Absolutely.
And
we put a lot of effort into Christmas and a lot of effort into Easter, in those big events that we have. And what we tend to forget oftentimes is really the big event is every single Sunday.
Right.
We come together week in and week out, and the purpose of coming together is to simply worship and to simply lift our praise up to the Lord. And that's done every single week.
Absolutely.
And we miss that opportunity, I think, oftentimes because we get into such a routine of, I'm just coming to church out of, just out of routine, out of this is what we always do. But we miss the opportunity to truly worship the Lord and see it as the opportunity that lies before us. But we want to put our best, when we have a Christmas presentation or an Easter presentation, when we need to be making sure that we're putting everything that we can every single Sunday, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I tell my choir all the time, and I'm sure you say something similar of, we're going to try our best. We're going to work hard during practice. We're going to try to learn it the best we can. In our services, we don't sing with music because I want the freedom to be able to worship. And not feel, when you have music in your hand, it doesn't matter who you are. You could be singing out of the hymn book, or you could be in the choir loft. Yep. You're staring at your music the whole time. Yeah. And that takes away the freedom of worship. And so, but
you don't want to be hindered. You don't want to be hemmed in. It's good to have that as a tool in your rehearsals.
It's how you learn.
It's how you learn, and hopefully in our rehearsals, as we continue to teach the music and to pour into the people through rehearsals and things, hopefully the music doesn't just get in our heads, but it gets into our hearts. Exactly. So that when we come into to Sundays and services that we're leading, it's an outpour of our praise. And it's really not, we may not hit every note that's on the page. We may not hit everything that is exactly what we've rehearsed. However, the desire and the goal and the heart behind it is we're going to pour ourselves into it. God poured himself out for us. So why should we not come together to pour out our praise for him and give him our best? Right. And yes, we want it to be the very best it can be musically. Absolutely. That's
when it comes time for the service. I tell them, just let it rip.
Absolutely. Just sing.
Just worship.
And sing with all your heart. Just sing with everything inside of you. Yeah. Because he's worthy.
A mutual friend of ours, Brother Fred, when I was in college, he traveled with us and directed our little ensemble when we traveled. And every concert, before we get up and sing, he'd ask that question. It was, what reason do you have, I'm misquoting him here, but what reason do you have not to give everything you got?
Oh, absolutely.
And that was always the last statement before we got on stage of, there's no excuses, there's no other reason, just give it all. Just give everything you got.
Give everything you've got every single time. Yeah. Because really, I tell my choir all this, we don't have yesterday. Yesterday's already gone. Right. Tomorrow has not yet come. We're in the moment today. Right. So we want to make sure that we are in the moment, that we truly take the time in the moment, the opportunity that is before us to really give God the glory and the praise that he deserves in that moment.
And that should be the heart of worship leaders in general.
Oh, absolutely.
The heart of a church, as well as we don't have an agenda to come in with.
Right.
Now, as the leaders of our areas, we've got our order of service that we try to stick by. Yeah. There should always be if the Lord wants to change it, he has that free reign.
Yeah, he's off.
to chunk it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But that should be the heart of everyone walking in the door is I'm just here to worship. I don't have an agenda. I don't have a time clock to punch and oftentimes people are just trying to get in, get out. And then,
check a box. And just want to check a box.
To some point, that annoys me. Why do we have to continually strive to urge Christians to be at church and to get them to be where they need to be the most? And sometimes that can, as a minister side of it, that gets a little annoying sometimes. But that should be our heart. Is we just come in and lay it at his feet and just worship. Absolutely. And that kind of goes with the song that we sang yesterday, "Worthy of It All," and just such an awesome song. It's not difficult. It's not one you have to really think about. It's not an intense. Doesn't have a lot of lyrics to it,
right?
But the message of it's very simple.
Oh, absolutely.
But very right where we need to be. You're worthy of it all. I exalt you. You are worthy of it all.
Exactly. And as we talked on Saturday, the line that says, "Day and night, night and day, let incense arise." Our incense is our worship, our praise. It's the prayers of the people, and the Bible tells us that we should pray without ceasing. We should worship without ceasing. We should give him the glory all the time because he is worthy of it all. It's not just words on a page that we sing week in and week out. It's a lifestyle of worship to him. Worship's more than a song. It's more than lyrics. It's more than, coming to church on Sunday to sing a song. It's a lifestyle. Oh, exactly. It's being obedient. It's being in tune with the Lord and walking with the Spirit. And that's what worship is. Music is just a portion.
It's a good tool to use.
Absolutely. It's a portion of a worship service. And so,
and we talk all the time. You can sing through all the songs and not have worshiped.
Oh, absolutely.
That could have just been the routine
Yes.
that you know, that's part of what we do. We just come in and sing and go home. But I tell the choir all the time, for me, when you get on that stage, there's nothing special about the stage, but you're now into a leadership role. And so for me, when you're in the choir loft, you're on the praise team, you're in the band, whoever you are now a worship leader.
Absolutely.
Now, that's my job is to lead other worship leaders as the Lord leads me. But you're a worship leader when you get on that stage.
Yeah.
And you're in that leadership role. And but for me, I try to urge them, you cannot have an overflow, and you can't lead out of the overflow if there's no flow all week long.
Absolutely.
There has to be a daily growing, working relationship with the Lord so that you can effectively lead in worship.
Yeah.
It's the same with a pastor. You cannot lead sheep where you have not been. You can't lead your congregation if you are not being led as well. And so, but that's where we need to be we just come in and say, Lord, you're worthy.
Yeah.
Lead me, guide me, teach me, show me what you want. If we'll ever get to that, if we'll ever get to that point, that's where the revival would kick in.
Exactly.
You know, if we'll just, God, you're the center of it all. Whatever, that's a song we've sung last year, we're going to sing it again coming up, is Center of It All. He's the center of it all. And if we'll make him that, that's where the change happens.
Oh, absolutely. You know? Absolutely. When you focus him as the center of your life, you know, everything else falls in place. You know, Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all of these things will be added unto you. Seeking him, keeping him the center, that's the key.
Right. If we'll get to that point, and stay there.
And it's easy,
it's easy to get
it's
off.
easy to say that too. It's easy to sit here and say all these great things that, you know, that's our heart's desire.
Right.
But we also know that the world plays a part in this, and we have to live in the world, and we all have families, and we all have things and situations and lives outside of the church. However, our life should be one of following Christ, one of living a life to where our life is centered on him, that he's not just part of our life, but he is our life, that he lives through us and we live in him, and we allow him to live through us, if that makes sense at all.
Absolutely.
And so, and then as we do that throughout the week, as you said a moment ago, when we come into the church on Sundays, then our overflow, our worship is what we have walked through that week, and it's just, we're prepared. We're prepared to come before him and give him the praise that he's worthy of.
It's just organized in that manner of this is how we do it corporately.
Absolutely.
These are tools to be used.
Yeah.
But again, it doesn't matter if you're on stage or you're in the congregation. If you always are coming to the church to say, bless me, give me something, you're not going to get anything.
No.
You're going to walk away upset, angry, or frustrated
Exactly.
that you didn't get nothing.
Yeah.
But that's because there's no working relationship during the week. And church is not meant to be the fill me up place. It's meant to be, we're going to come together corporately. Here's a hospital if you need it.
Absolutely.
But we're going to come together corporately, encourage one another, love on one another, cry together, laugh together, whatever it is, you know, all those cliches. But that's genuinely what it needs to look like.
Absolutely. You know? Absolutely. And that's what it should be. You know, church, we bring all of our preferences in. We bring all of our tendencies and our traditions and all of these things in to the building oftentimes, when what we should bring is our worship. Exactly. What we should bring is our praise, and leave all of that other stuff outside the building. You know, we want to bring our best before the Lord, but if we come with the attitude of, you know, I'm here for me, give me, or bless me, instead of us coming to give to the Lord and bless him, it's, you know, we're missing the point big time.
Right. You know, I was thinking about, I think I told you the other night, at one point Brother Clay said, hey, you're preaching Sunday night, and be ready, you know, and he's known to do that from time to time. But I enjoy that because I don't preach much. Some people say I preach during the music sometimes, you know, and that does happen every now and then. But
and you should. There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
you should. You better be.
But generally it's whatever is on my heart that day. And I'm one of those. If I'm feeling something, you see it on me. I can't hide it.
It's got to come out.
It's all on me.
Yeah.
And I either get it out or I'm preaching it to Jordan that night, and she don't want it. You know, and so I've got to be able to get it out. But Part of what I talked about in that sermon was worship is a condition of the heart. It has nothing to do about my opinion or my wants or my desires. Yeah. It's got to be of a surrendered place from a heart to worship. And Jacob in the Bible, he wrestled with God, and after that wrestling, he walked with a limp for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
But in Hebrews, it said he stood on his cane and worshipped.
Yeah.
He looked back through his life, through the limp, through the issues, through the trials, and he worshiped. And oftentimes that's where worship comes from, is that limping place.
Oh, absolutely.
Of you saw God move in that time, and you don't ever forget it. You hated the experience necessarily.
Yeah, we would never choose to go through the pain and the trial, but it's through the pain and the trial that you are closer to the Lord. You experience Him in ways that you would never be able to experience Him. And out of that goodness and that faithfulness that He's shown to you, it produces in you that worship.
Right.
And that's
something you depend on for the rest of your life.
Oh, absolutely.
I know and you said it Saturday, I know we did it back then.
Yeah.
I have no reason not to trust Him to do it now.
Absolutely.
And He'll do it again. So
He's faithful.
Absolutely.
He is faithful.
Absolutely. And hopefully that's the message of the songs we sing and everything that we do. Here's the life I live because He has been faithful to us. Yeah. So, Tony, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today.
Absolutely. This has been great. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming, and I'm so glad you came for the weekend. I think I told you, I don't care if anybody else enjoys it. I'm having a good time. I'm just...
Well, Becky and I have been, as I said Saturday, it's been a joy and an honor to be here. I appreciate the invitation. And we just, we may be in two different places, but we're one body. So I'm grateful for the experience and just to be able to come and share with the choir. Great folks here. Folks here. So thank you for the invitation, brother.
Fun. I appreciate you coming. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate y'all watching. Again, don't forget, Experiencing God starts tonight in your at home, not in your groups yet, but your personal Bible study starts tonight. So please start reading your book and getting ready for that. If you need a book or you haven't registered yet and you would like to, please contact the office or go to fbcblanchard.com, hit the Experiencing God tab, and you can register through there. And if you have any questions, please let us know. Love you. Thank you for watching. We'll see you later. Bye.